Hey YouTubers, good morning y'all. Listen, get for real, measure yourselves, okay? The Lord's getting ready to measure his temple. You measure your own before he cuts away your awfulness. It's not a pretty sight. I've gone through it. It is not fun to be humiliated by the Lord and be humbled by him. You want to go ahead and do that yourself before he gets here, okay? Alright, coming to you today, talking to you about loving your neighbor as yourself. Well, you know, the Lord asked me to talk about this, and I thought, well, what do I really know about this subject? Because, you know, we all stay cooped up in our houses, in our devices, in our televisions, in our own little bubble, and doing our thing, you know what I mean? And we barely even notice the person that lives next to us, or even friends, you know, pay attention to what's going on in their lives. So what I started out with is I can tell you what it isn't. Okay, first of all, loving your neighbor doesn't mean you go have affairs with your neighbor. Don't love in that way, okay? Just all jokes aside, don't be hateful to one another. Don't covet each other's wives or husbands or things that each other has. You never try to compete with one another about worldly stuff. That is so far gone. I mean, those days are gone. The Lord's already here. You guys don't understand, okay? This is the judgment of the church. So if you want to be included as part of the bride, then you better get with the program, because this is the program, okay? So coveting. Don't covet what your neighbor has. Don't look at his car and go, man, I gotta go get me one. Da, da, da. You know, look at his iPhone. I better go get me the next greatest iPhone. You know what I'm saying? That's nonsense, y'all. Come on with it. Don't be selfish. You know, being selfish these days is a really big problem. It's a problem within families. It's a problem within marriages. It's a problem in neighborhoods. It's a problem amongst friends. Because everyone wants what they want when they want it. And that's not how God designed things to be done. He designed it to where we would care about others the way we wanted to be cared about ourselves. Okay, so if you're doing that, then you're going to be looking in on your neighbor. You're going to be checking on your friends. You're going to be looking, checking in on the widows to make sure they've got everything they need. You're going to be, you know, maybe spending some time at the Boys and Girls Club and helping a fatherless child, you know, that doesn't have that foundation, you know what I'm saying? And teach them the ways that you know that were taught from your father, you know what I'm saying? Find all sorts of ways that you can help your community in some way. We are failing our own selves. God's not failing us. Satan's not even to blame, you guys. Listen, Satan has gotten a bad rap for a long time, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm not giving him his due or anything. I'm just saying, you know what? Let's own some of what we are causing our own selves here. We are not doing the things that God has asked for us to do. Very simple things, you know what I'm saying? Love your neighbor as yourself. Love the Lord your God with all your might, with all your soul, and with all your heart, and with all your strength. If we were doing those two things right there, I mean, all this other business would be all set aside. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could correct this whole sinking ship, which we are going to do. So you're either going to be in the ship with those of us that are going to be afloat, or you're going down. You know what I'm saying? There is no other options here, because the Lord is already here. Okay, I'm going to prove it to you this way. In Revelation, I don't know what verse, because I'm not, you know, I'm not a trained pastor or anything like that. I'm just a sinner that Christ saved, and I'm very on fire for him, because I know what glory and what amazing things he can do with a person's life. So that's why I'm here talking to the people today, and he's asked me to, and considering where he brought me from, I owe him that very least. But I lost my train of thought. I get so excited about him. I really am in love with the Lord. And and that's another thing, guys. If you are in love with the Lord, or if you are a person that's trying to get right with the Lord because you know He's here, you sense it. Oh, I know what, I lost my train of thought. Okay, I can prove to you that He's here already, okay? All right, in Revelation, John says in there, for His face is like the sun shining in its full strength. Okay, has anybody stepped outside in the last couple of months? You know what I'm saying? Anybody ever seen the sun that bright in your entire lifetime? Anybody? I mean, I'm telling you what, you know what I'm saying? The Bible knows what time of day it is. We don't. We're ignorant, filthy fish. But God knows what time of day it is. And He gives us signs all along the way. It's like me. I mean, He literally had to shake my foundations because He started putting stuff in my social media feed for the gym, for the slow learner. I was like, why is all this stuff about, the slowness coming through my feed? It's not like I'm a software engineer, And it's like, yeah, no, you're slow. It was letting me know you're really behind the 8 ball here. And I really was, and I still am if it weren't for Him every day, shaving off these, taking the scales out of my eyes and showing me things and opening my eyes to this and seeing this area of my life that's not right with Him, or lifting up my skirt in another area that's disgusting and vile to Him. You know what I'm saying? He knows it all, you guys. We're not hiding from anything, okay? So put away this filthiness and this self-obsession. Get out of your devices, devices of the devil, okay? You guys are so easily, it's just like in the Garden of Eden, you know what I'm saying? Eve was beguiled. So that means Eve was tricked, okay? She was enchanted by the hissing enchanter, okay? So she was enchanted and beguiled. But Adam knew what he was doing. So that sin of that forbidden thing, doing that forbidden thing against God, we need to put away that stuff. That is immaturity. That's silliness. That's if you're involved in things like that, and and willfully going against the 10 Commandments, which if you don't know the 10 Commandments, look them up. They're listed twice in the Bible, once in Exodus and once in Deuteronomy. And then Jesus summed them up with 2 more in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Anyway, so I'm just out there to really encourage everybody. Judgment does begin with the church. And we're going to be judged for not just our bad deeds. Because everybody knows when we do something bad or naughty or forbidden or whatever, we know that it's coming. We expect that, you know what I mean? Even a child knows when they go and steal out of the cookie jar, they know that they're about to get it. You know what I'm saying? So they already know that's coming. But when you go and don't do something, if you're going to be judged by your bad deeds, you're also going to be judged on your good deeds, okay? So what I want to say is, like, if the Lord impresses upon you to go check in on your neighbor, or go check on the elderly in your neighborhood to make sure they, have fans or air conditioning or whatever the thing is that He sends you to do, and you do it, and you're like, oh man, I'm pressed for time, gosh, it's really getting in my way to do this thing for God. You know what I mean? I'm serious, man. I have a sneaky suspicion that our judgment of our good deeds is going to be way more severe than anything bad that we've done. Because if you're not doing the good thing that God's sending you to do, and you run in there and you've got spite in your heart, or you've got malice or ill content, or you're just not wanting to do it, I'll go and bless them, but I'm about to bless you. You know what I mean? If you go in with that attitude and stuff, you're ruining God's plan, His perfect plan for how this world is supposed to work. So man, I know I've done it. So I'm not putting myself above you guys. I'm saying, let's get with the program here. Let's start doing good and stop doing evil. Find ways of doing good to your neighbor, to your friends, to your community, to the less fortunate. You know, it starts there. It starts in your own community. It starts at home. And it starts with the Lord. Have a blessed day, everybody.